Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. We got some fun gameplay for you today. This is match 2 of Teysa, Teysa, Eriette, and Katsumasa. So, vehicles, card draw, death triggers, and enchantments. I already rolled the dice. Teysa, or as I like to call them, Quiznos, is going to go first, so we'll go ahead and jump into the gameplay. Draw a card for turn. Goldmire Bridge comes in tapped and pass. Draw over here. Swamp for turn. No one-drops or anything, so we'll pass. Draw for Eriette. Snow-covered plains and pass. Draw. We'll drop the island we just drew, and that's it. Pass turn. How is everyone doing out there? I hope you're all having a good day. Hopefully it's a good start to your week. If things aren't going that great, I hope things get better for you. And I hope that this video can take your mind off the bad things if there's going on, just a little bit of entertainment. Hopefully you'll see some fun cards you want to play. You'll learn from my mistakes so you get better as a Magic player. Hopefully I get better as a Magic player. It's all fun and games, figuratively and literally. So we'll untap, upkeep, draw for turn, play an Evolving Wilds, and I will sack it for an island. Comes into the battlefield tapped, still no one-drops, and we will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a Plains for turn, so we have both colors of our commander. And I will tap 2 for Zulaport Cutthroat. It's a 1/1. Whenever it or another creature I control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We may have seen that in match 1. Unfortunately, that's what we have established with the channel and games in general. You always end up getting the same cards over and over. Even though there's 99 cards in the deck, you should see new ones almost every game for a while. Somehow you always get the same ones. And there's cards that are in the deck that you know you want to play and you almost never see them. But that's all we can do. We will pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a swamp for turn. Not much we can do, so we'll pass. Untap, upkeep, draw over here. Island for turn. Regrettably no 2. Whoop, I did get a 2-drop just now. 1/2 to play Steel Overseer. It's a 1/1. I can tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature you control. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. We will play Snowfield Sinkhole. Comes in tapped. Then I will tap both of my lands to play a Thought Vessel. No maximum hand size, which is important in a heavy card draw deck, and it taps for 1 color, so it's a bit of ramp as well. Pass turn, untap over here, upkeep, draw. I will play another swamp. 1, 2, 3 to play Worn Powerstone. Comes in tapped and taps for 2 colorless. I can attack, but now I can attack either one of these characters. It's only 1 damage, and then I would be open, and then that person could swing in on me or whatever, and it's like, meh, best to just leave it go for right now. It's only 1 damage, so we'll pass turn. Although, sometimes that 1 less damage can mean the difference between winning and losing, so we'll see what happens. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play another swamp for turn, tapping all 3 to get out Eriette of the Charmed Apple. She is a 2/4. Each creature that's enchanted by an aura I control can't attack me or planeswalkers I control. And at the beginning of my end step, each opponent loses X life and I gain X life, where X is the number of auras I control. As I mentioned in the first game, I would imagine that most people try and build her with enchantment auras onto their opponent's creatures that buff those creatures and essentially give them goad. So I'm going to give you a +3/+1 onto your creature, but you can't attack me. So it helps, speed up the game and they beat each other up with it. Which this deck might evolve into that over time, but I tried to do it where I used up all of the cool white enchantment auras that are like, this creature can't attack or block. So I just want to lock down everybody's creatures and then swing in with my Eriette for commander damage. We'll see how it goes. Pass turn. So far with the testing of her, though, she really hasn't done it because I haven't been able to play more than 1 or 2 auras a turn like I want. I need to find a way to ramp up, especially with like artifact, mana rocks and stuff, so that I can have a lot of card draw, which is not the easiest in black and white, to be like, okay, I'm going to enchant your creature, I'm going to enchant your creature, I'm going to buff my creature, I'm going to swing in, and then I'm going to end turn, and you guys are going to take 3 damage, and I gain 3 life. That's how I want it to go. It's not there yet, so we'll see. But we untapped, upkeep, draw. I will play another island for turn, tapping 1, 2, 3 to play Alloy Myr. It's a 2/2 and taps for 1 mana of any color. You know what? Why not? Let's tap the Steel Overseer and go ahead and put a counter on Alloy Myr, because why not? Now it's a 3/3. We will pass turn. That could be beneficial in a number of ways. I mean, now it's 3 power for crewing things, or it's just 3 power to swing in on somebody. Why not? Untap, upkeep, draw over here. We'll play a Terramorphic Expanse and crack it for another island. Comes into battlefield tapped. Then we will tap 1 of each color, 1 extra to play Teysa, Augur of Agonies. A 3/4. Whenever I draw a card, target opponent loses 1 life and I gain 1 life. So obviously this deck is just about dropping as many draw spells as possible. pinging out your opponents and hopefully winning the game that way. There's a couple cards in here that increase the number of cards you draw when you draw a card. You know, instead of like when you draw one card, or if you would draw a card, you draw two, that kind of thing, to get more value. This was built off of what I owned already. I'm sure there's a lot better cards I can put into this to speed it up. Although last game, first matchup, this deck won and we got to see it use Peer into the Abyss to extremely good results. I drew 42 cards, killed 2 people right off the bat, and then was able to pull out the win against the last player. That's not going to happen every time, and I could try and put like tutors in the deck to go look for Peer into the Abyss, but then it's almost like a combo, and it's just kind of I'm back and forth on those kind of things. Like, I don't like infinite combos unless they immediately kill the board. Sanguine Bond, Exquisite Blood. That's okay because at least once it activates, it just wins the game. It's not, I don't like the ones that draw things out like, well, I can make infinite mana and draw all of my cards in my deck until I find a way to win. It's like, well, then you haven't won. But in order to play it out, we're going to sit here and watch you play Magic for like 30 minutes until you find it. It's like, you just scoop, but it's not fair because you didn't actually win yet. At least with the Sanguine Bond kind of combo, instantly win. And I did show last game that this deck had Thopter Assembly Time Sieve combo, which is infinite turns. And that falls into the category of like, well, you have to play it out if you really want to show you win. So, not trying to be a hypocrite. I mean, I do have those kind of things in there occasionally, but most of my combos, if I have an infinite combo, are the direct damage ones that just win the game. And even then, I don't have cards to go get them because it just feels, it's not a CDH deck, but it almost feels like you're just trying to make that. Because if that's the way you win every single time with that deck, what's the fun in it? Everybody knows what you're going for. You're going to go for it extremely quickly. It's like, I like it if it just happens to come up and you get those cards, cool. But again, that's my playstyle, and all playstyles are valid as long as you are in the right pod that understands and agrees with that. If you have a super aggressive deck that goes for the infinite combo every single time and you're playing with a bunch of casual people like these decks built off of normal cards and hardly any like really special ones, that's not fair. But if you're playing against other people that share the same mindset, awesome, go on. But we're going to go ahead and pass turn, untap, upkeep, draw for turn, play another swamp. I will then tap for 2 black and a white to play Teysa Karlov. She's a 2/4. If a creature dying would cause a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it does it an additional time. And creature tokens you control have vigilance and lifelink, but there really aren't many. I didn't go for the token generation aspect in here. I still have 2 mana left, but nothing I can really or need to do right now. So we're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Play another swamp, which isn't ideal because we do need more planes. So what we'll do is we'll tap all 3 for a Chromatic Lantern. Hey, look, it fixed it. Okay, what do we got? Alright, I'm going to tap 2 and play Cooped Up. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. I can pay 3 and exile enchanted creature. It doesn't say controller or owner or anything, so it's just pay 2 and a white, exile enchanted creature. So anybody that has white in their deck could probably activate this, I guess. Doesn't say anything specific. Doesn't say enchantments controller, it doesn't say creatures controller, it just says exile target or exile enchanted creature. So I can do it, they can do it, and they can, yeah. So these 3 could theoretically do it. Question is, where do I want to put it? Because honestly, none of these creatures are really meant to attack. I just want it on the field so I can start getting the triggers. So we'll go ahead and put it on this because you are starting to build it up, and then that way. Now this creature can still tap for mana, and it can still tap to crew things. So it hasn't really stopped the usefulness of the creature completely. Unless I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but I believe that shouldn't affect, because it doesn't say anything about the activated abilities. It is literally just can't attack or block. So we're going to move to our end step. I control 1 enchantment aura, so everyone's going to lose 1 and I'm going to gain 1. First blood. We will pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a snow-covered island. Tap all 4 to play the commander. A 3/3 flyer, Katsumasa the Animator. Pay 3 mana. Until end of turn, target non-creature artifact you control becomes an artifact creature and gains flying. If it isn't a vehicle, its base power and toughness is 1/1. And at the beginning of my upkeep, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 3 target non-creature artifacts. Put that there to remind me I have an upkeep trigger. Unfortunately, right now, I don't have any non-creature artifacts, so that won't do anything next turn. And there's no real reason to tap him to now put it on there because it's not going to help. And that would just take me down a blocker. So we might as well just pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. We will play Skyline Cascade. Enters the battlefield tapped, and when it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent control doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. I guess I should hold on to that because no one's is even tapped. But it's going to be tricky because the only thing that's going to be attacking on that side is going to be vehicles, and by my turn to play a land, They will no longer be creatures, so it won't be used there. And they probably aren't going to be doing too much attacking. They might, but, well, Eriette will be attacking, but that's it. And we're not there yet. And it's just good to have the lands out. So we'll just do it. It kind of fizzles. What is our... Well, first of all, we drew a card too. So you're going to take that damage and I'm going to gain the life back. Now, we're going to tap 1, 2, 3 to play Alloy Myr. On my side, hey, look, twinsies. Then black and a blue to play Baleful Strix, a 1/1 flying death touch. Extremely good. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. So I draw a card, and you're going to take another damage, and I'm going to gain another life. Haha, we totally switched. Now again, Quiznos, as a 3/4, he could attack, or it could attack, she could, I don't know what it is. But it really isn't going to get through anywhere, so there's no point. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw over here. We'll go 1, 2, 3 to play Agent of the Iron Throne. It's an enchantment background. Commander creatures you own have whenever an artifact or creature you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. So that's a permanent that has a death trigger, well, is affected by death, so that, this would be doubled. Then I will go ahead and tap these 3 to play Synapse Necromage, a 3/1. When it dies, create 2 1/1 black fungus creature tokens with these creatures can't block. Well, this creature can't block. So again, when that dies, I get to make 4 black fungus as long as Teysa is on the field. Again, now I could swing the Zulaport Cutthroat and hope that someone stops it and kills it so I get the death trigger, but at the same time, there's no reason to immediately go for that. Also because, letting you know, I have a blasting station in my hand, so it's a sack outlet. So I can wait till that's on the field and then start sacking things to it so I can get even more triggers. I'm going to go ahead and pass turn. Just want to say I appreciate you checking out my video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you stick around the channel and see some other things you like. Maybe subscribe if you're not already. I would appreciate it. The goal of the channel, if you haven't seen the explanation video or you just don't know, is to get better at deck building and playing Magic so that I can win against my friends a little bit more instead of losing all the time. And also, more importantly, is to get to enough subscribers that I can do charity streams twice a year, raise money for Extra Life, which benefits my local children's hospital. That's the real big goal. The selfish goal is to just get better at Magic so I can win a little bit more. We're going to untap, upkeep, draw for turn, play another swamp, but because of Chromatic Lantern, that's okay. Going to tap these 3, making them all white actually, to play Danitha Caspin Paragon, a 2/2 with first strike, vigilance, and lifelink, pretty awesome, and aura and equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So that means this aura spell costs 3 now to cast instead of 4, tapping all 3 to enchant Eriette with Angelic Destiny. It says, enchanted creature gets +4/+4, has flying and first strike, and is an angel in addition to its other types. When enchanted creature dies, return Angelic Destiny to its owner's hand. It doesn't even get thrown into the graveyard. Lots of beneficial stuff on that one. Now that she is a 6/8, we definitely want to start swinging. I'm going to move to combat. She's flying as well, so we're going to send her at you. 1, 2, oh, wait a second. Let's do that as commander damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then first strike, she doesn't have lifelink. Right, no. So then I will move to my end step. I now have 2 auras in control, so everyone will lose 2 life, and I will gain 2 life. Past turn, a lot of life gain and loss in these decks, which is a lot of fun bouncing back and forth. It's interesting. It does probably slow this game down a little bit, because, oh, I gained life, now I'm going to take you down, and, we're still hovering around the same starting total. But we passed over to here, upkeep trigger, nothing to put on it, so we're just going to draw a card. Well, untap, of course. Draw a card. Still no lands. This deck seems to need more lands, I guess, because this is what happened last time as well. I'm going to have to make note of that. We'll tap 3 to play Getaway Car. It's a 4/3 with haste. Whenever Getaway Car attacks or blocks, return up to 1 target creature that crewed it this turn to its owner's hand. So up to. You don't have to return 1 to your hand. Let's see, crew of 1. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and tap Alloy Myr to crew it since it has haste. So it's a 4/3. I will then send it at you. You can either take 4 or block it with your Paragon, but you're not going to want to do that because the Paragon's going to die, even with the lifelink. I mean, the lifelink would help you, but the Paragon's going to die. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. And when it attacks, you may return it. So I'm going to return Alloy Myr to my hand, thereby getting rid of your little enchantment. Ha ha. What you get about that, punk? That's pretty cool. I will then move to my end step, nothing else to happen. We'll go ahead and pass turn. That's a handy dandy little ability over there in this specific situation. So we're going to untap, upkeep, draw. I'm going to draw, so you'll take a damage, and I'll gain a life. We're going to play Irrigated Farmland, comes in tapped. I will tap a black and 1 other to play Bloodseeker, Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you may have that player lose 1 life. So here's the thing. It's a may ability, so if I forget about it, it just doesn't happen. However, I forget about everything because as soon as I'm not in front of the deck, I forget what all the cards are in the hand and what on the battlefield, which is part of the training of these things, is to try and remember board states better. So technically, I shouldn't, if I come back around here and be like, oh crap, everybody played creatures, they should have taken a damage. I shouldn't really do that, but, we'll see how it plays out in terms of, like, if I want to roll back and do that. Under normal circumstances, if it didn't say may, it wouldn't be an issue. They would just take the damage. Regardless, I'm going to then tap a blue and play Preordain, scry 2, then draw a card. I'm going to put this on the bottom, put the other one on top, draw it for turn. I'm going to have you take a damage, and I'm going to gain a life. I will then, tap 2 to play the card I drew, Lightning Greaves. Move to equip. Any responses? Of course not, it's my decks. But seriously, I don't think anybody has any responses, and even if they did, nobody has the open mana necessary to do them. So I can move to combat. I do have a Flying Death Toucher, but I should probably leave the Flying Death Toucher up because they have flying. We really need to try and remember whenever a creature comes. But that's all we can do, so we'll go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw over here. Play another swamp in this. Wow, both of these decks are getting heavy swamps, no plains. But as I said before, we're going to tap 1, 2, 3 and play Blasting Station. Tap it and sacrifice a creature. Blasting Station deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Whenever a creature comes into play, you may untap Blasting Station. Let's try it then. We're going to tap Blasting Station and sacrifice Synapse Necromage. We're going to have a couple triggers on the stack. So first off, we're going to, whenever Zulaport Cutthroat or another creature I control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and I gain 1 life. Teysa's going to make that everyone loses 2, and I gain 2. Then Synapse Necromage says, when it dies, create 2 1/1 black fungus creature tokens that can't block. Because of the doubling, there are now 4 of the creature enter the battlefield, or comes into play, and that's a creature, so anytime anyone does it, I can untap it. So that untaps. So I could do it again, which would be another 2 damage, another 2 damage gain, so that's not bad. But instead, I think what we're going to do, and maybe this is the wrong play, but we're going to tap 4 and play Exquisite Huntmaster. Now hang on. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, so that's 4 triggers, so I can have them lose 4 life. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that negates the life gain that we just got. And then this is coming in, so they're definitely going to lose a life for that as well. So I kind of remembered it. Exquisite Huntmaster is a 4/2. Whenever it dies, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. No longer have any open mana, so I can't use Blasting Station again, and that's fine. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Another swamp, jeez. I'm going to have to reevaluate the amount of plains in these decks. Thankfully, I have that Chromatic Lantern. That's a big, big help. I'm going to tap 3, and let's see. What is a threat for attacking? Oh, okay, yeah. Let's Dreadful Apathy. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. Oh, interesting. That's really cool. I was like, wait, didn't I just play this? It's literally the same as Cooped Up. And you pay 3, exile enchanted creature. Wow, that's really cool. But we're going to put that on Baleful Strix, so now that you don't have a flyer. I will then tap this swamp for a white to cast Ethereal Armor on Eriette. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and has first strike. It already had first strike, but now it's getting a +1/+1 for each one that I control. So that's going to be 3. So it's 3, 7, 8, 9. 9 commander flying. And I guess we really should focus the commander on 1 character because that's, I hate to do it, and we've talked about this a billion times, so I won't harp on it, but I like to spread things out early game because it's just, what's the fun of taking this character out 3, 4, 5, 6 turns in and then everyone else plays for another half hour? I've been there. That's not a fun seat to sit in because then you're just playing on your phone, bored out of your mind, waiting to shuffle up and start again. Even if everyone's talking, they're still mainly focusing on the game. However, because it's just me, I'm not going to get bored playing, so we'll go ahead and do that. We're going to fly, send 9 commander damage at you. That puts it at 13 commander. That's within, that's absolutely within lethal range on the next hit, regardless of whether she goes up again or not. No, it isn't. Sorry, it's 1 shy. Because 7, no, 7, 9, I'm sorry, blah, math. But that's fine because first match, card draw 1, so I'm okay with it if it's taken out this game. Then we're going to move to our end step. Everyone's going to take 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to gain 3 because that's how many enchantments I control. Now, Eriette, you're starting to see what she's supposed to do. Although, in a this just happened to be, I didn't really think about the matchup when I was picking decks based off of their power level and how long ago I played them. I wasn't thinking about how they would interact with each other. So none of these decks, except for technically vehicles, is really combat heavy. So that's the reason why this is being okay. In a real game against real players, someone's going to have, at least one player is going to have a combat heavy deck, and a couple players are probably going to be commander damage. I need more of these, cooped up and stuff to be locking down other creatures if I'm going to do this. Again, I could technically pivot on the fly, and I could have put some of these buffing enchantments on somebody else's stuff, again, for that pseudo goad kind of situation. So I guess I can try and play the deck that way, and it's not a bad thought now that I think about it out loud. It could just be a matter of, okay, what do I have in my hand? But at the same time, she's up to 9 damage on a commander that's flying. That's pretty good. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep trigger now. We're going to put 1 counter on the getaway card. Then we're going to draw a card for turn. Still no land. Very unfortunate. See, it's tricky because I could play the Alloy Myrrh again, which would at least give me an extra mana next turn. So it's good in terms of, planning ahead, but... Well, you know what, no. And I don't have enough to play that, so I guess that kind of answers the question. So my thought process, so you guys can hear, is I have 2 vehicles in my hand, Sky Sovereign Console Flagship and Surge Hacker Mech. The Sky Sovereign has a crew of 3. This Getaway Car has a crew of 1, so if I play the Sky Sovereign, I could tap both of these to crew the 2 vehicles and go to town. I would need to tap both of these to crew the Surge Hacker Mech, so that's not efficient, unless, of course, I use the ability. Sky Sovereign Flagship costs 5, so I need the Alloy Myrrh to next turn play the Sky Sovereign. Alright, so now we have a 5-4 if we crew it. And again, that's probably, you're not putting your things on my stuff, because you kind of can't, but you are gaining life, and you've got a very dangerous flying commander. So we're going to go ahead and tap Seal Overseer to crew Getaway Car, move to combat, and send a 5-4 at you. Again, oh shoot, you know what? I should have an extra couple lands up, shouldn't I? Because these cost 1 less. That's the whole reason why I don't block with him. Which means I actually could have cast another enchantment on my turn. Darn it. Okay. Lesson not learned. But we have the open mana. I'm just not going to dial it back that far. So anyway, I won't block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all they can do. Pass turn. That's a creature. We should have lost a life. I didn't play any creatures over here, thankfully, and I caught the others. So it's a little late, but that's close enough. That kind of stuff depends on how much. If you're playing a casual game, if you're playing with friends, at that point, because of that late call out, they could be like, no, you're supposed to call it immediately. It's a May ability, and it's like, fine, whatever. Or they could be like, oh yeah, man, no problem. And of course, in all those situations, that's only cool until about halfway. Once you get to the end of the game, and someone is getting, maybe someone's already out of the game, 1 or 2 players, or people are starting to get real close to win cons, no one's going to want to dial it back and be like, yeah, go ahead and, not no one, but it's real iffy. Sometimes people will be like, okay, but when you're trying to say oh, I tapped my mana wrong, can I change that? Yeah, go ahead, we're friends, but at the same time, I'm just helping you win. That's not what the point of the game is. I want to win. If you tapped your mana wrong, that's on you. And I do that all the time, so I'm not saying it's not something that everybody does it. But that's the point. That's a lesson learned for myself and anybody watching, is that we need to try and slow down. Even though games can take a while, you need to take a breath and make sure that you're thinking ahead. Because I know I get in that role where it's like I have one idea in my head that I'm going to play this card on this turn, and then I draw a new card, I barely read the new card, but yet that could have changed things. Or I draw the new card, play a land, go to do something, and realize that the card I just drew is a landfall trigger card that I should have played first. And it's like, well, can I take it back? It's like, I really shouldn't, because I should have read my cards. So again, not trying to be preachy in any sense, it's just a matter of, you gotta try and learn to hit that balance. It's a casual game, you're with your friends, it's one thing, but you really shouldn't redo things too much. Because then it's just like, well, you're just asking people to let you win the game, sort of. So I untap, upkeep trigger, upkeep, draw a card. We're going to have you take a damage. I'm going to gain a life. I think I will... Ooh, can I even do this? I cannot. That's unfortunate. That sucks. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I don't really have anything I can do, to be honest. Well, no, that's not entirely true. What am I saying? Black, white, 1 other to play Vindicate. Destroy target permanent. We're going to destroy Eriette. They don't have any kind of instant in their hand, so she goes back to the command zone. Now costs 2 extra to cast, and both of these enchantments go into the graveyard. So there we go. Spared myself from commander damage death next turn. I could have cast the other card, but that's okay because I would have lost if I hadn't cast the proper card just now. You know what? Since I don't have anything else to do, we're going to tap 3 and exile target creature, exile enchanted creature, and again, I think anybody can do it as long as they have white mana. So that's one less enchantment on the field for when she comes back. Hey, look at me trying to play smart magic. How dare I? It goes against my brand. Nothing that can attack, so we're going to go ahead and pass. I mean, they can attack, but it would be stupid to do so. Untap over here, upkeep. Hey, a plains. That's awesome. Not awesome, but it helps. I think I may have done the blasting station wrong in terms of the damage. I think I only gave 1 damage instead of the 2 that it should have been, but that's fine, whatever. Again, that 1 damage could mean all the world, but I'm going to tap the blasting station, sacrificing one of the fungus. 2 triggers go on the stack. Zulaport Cutthroat is going to deal 2 damage to each player, and I gain 2 life. And then Blasting Station deals 1 damage to target creature or player, and that's it, but it's going to do 2. So it's going to do 2 damage to somebody. It triggers additional time, so I can split that up. So we will do that and that. I don't, unfortunately, have any kind of... See, now, I was just talking about this. I didn't stop and think ahead enough because I believe what I should have done was I should have sacrificed the Exquisite Huntmaster to the blasting station, done the exact same damage, and then the 1/1 green elf warrior creature would come in, I would untap blasting station, and then I could tap it again and do one of the fungus and do even more damaging life gain. And as we've discussed many, many times, I'm very hit or miss on what I'm going to re-roll back, but that is kind of a bigger play, and I think I shouldn't roll it back. I think I should learn from it and try and do it better next turn if I get the chance. So we're going to go ahead and, well, I suppose that is part of it then too, huh? Yeah, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to then go to combat, because why not? I'm going to send these 4 creatures at you. You can kill any of them by blocking. If you block this thing, your guy dies. If you block one of these, it survives. However, that character knows that blocking any of them will make triggers happen. So it would be 4 damage. No, it would actually be 8 damage. 7, sorry. Do the math. 4 and 3. So you would take 7 damage. Or you could block one of these. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you blocked, you would actually take more damage. And I would gain life, and everyone else would take damage. So I think you might actually take this hit. What do you think? I mean, I think that's probably the best move at this point. It's only 1 difference. It's 1 extra, and that would make me have less... I would have less creatures because of it, but I would gain life. It would lower my opponents as well, so that is semi-beneficial. And now I have the lowest life total. However, if I blocked one, I would take an additional damage going down to 20. But they would be the same as me. So maybe in the long run, that is the better play. Very tricky. And then, oh, do I roll this combat back? You know, I think maybe. We'll try it. We'll see how that affects the game. We'll block 1, destroying it. So I would take 1 less damage. However, when a creature dies, everybody takes 2, and I gain 2. But still, nothing... Oh, I keep forgetting about Agent of Iron Throne. Whenever a creature you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. So now they would lose an extra 1. Man, this deck is fun but complicated. And this isn't even optimized. I don't have... There's got to be better death trigger creatures that I could put in here and ways to speed it up as well. So I have to look into that because this is a fun deck and I enjoy playing it. I've only played it a couple times. And I don't think that's a surprise. I'm pretty sure from what I've seen on Twitter that Teysa Karlov is a very popular commander anyway. So it's not like, again, I'm not any kind of groundbreaking revelation by playing this creature or anything. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to pass turn. I don't believe I've made a mistake. I hope I don't see something in editing, but untap, upkeep, draw over here. Another swamp. Definitely need to reevaluate the mana base in this. Because I know I have like 36 lands, so the mana number is fine. I just may have too many swamps in it. I'm going to have to go look at my Mox field and scroll down and see what the ratio is, because it tells you how many of the colored pips of each thing is in something, that being the white or the black, and it'll say, 30% white pips, 50% colorless, and like another 20% is, black, but obviously, so if that's the case, then we need to dial back the black. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to recast. So we'll do so, and I still have 3 mana, and enchantments do cost 1 less. Now, unfortunately, nobody really has not many creatures have activated abilities. They're all triggered abilities. So what we're going to do is, because they cost 1 less, 1, 2, 3, we're going to Faith's Fetters on Katsumasa. Enchanted creature, when it enters the battlefield, I gain 4 life, very much needed. Enchanted creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Oh, I guess that's the same thing. So, bollocks. So that really doesn't hurt anything. That would be more for something that says pay 2 and, well, not even, it was something like tap and sacrifice another creature to gain a life. That would stop that. It's not going to stop the mana ability of, right? Unless, oh, maybe it means, sorry, maybe it means Alloy Myrrh, because that's a mana ability. I'm thinking costs mana to activate. So that is a good target. I think, let me know in the comments, but I believe what that means is it can't stop an ability that just makes mana. So we will move to our end step. We only have one now, so everyone's going to lose one, and I'm going to gain one. Going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep trigger. We'll put a counter on that. Draw a card for turn. Still no land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cast Sky Sovereign Flagship. 6/5 flyer. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, it deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Okay, can't kill that. Can kill both of those. Okay, well, see, right there. It's a May ability, but I should have taken a damage because a creature came in. That's not a creature. No creatures came in over there. But what is 3? So it can kill the Paragon. We don't want to kill anything over there, although they are the threat. You know what? I think we do want to kill something over there. We want to kill Zulaport Cutthroat, because while it will trigger this time, so everyone takes 2 damage and they gain 2 life, and Blasting Station, everyone takes another damage, or not Blasting Station, the agent, but that's the last time, because now that he's gone, there's no more life gain and there's no more 2 damage per death, so we do want to get rid of that. It's kind of a tough love kind of thing, because it's going to hurt, but whatever. Okay, so we're going to tap this to crew the getaway car and swing it at you. It is now a 6/5. So if you block with Teysa, she will die. We don't want that, and we have the most life, so we'll take 6. Pass turn. I'm kind of pleased. Most of the decks, again, I know the game isn't moving too briskly. However, the decks are doing decent. Nothing is going impressive. Nothing is as fast as they should be, but they're all doing their things and maintaining and kind of interacting a little bit. So that's good. I'm pleased with that. That shows some progress. So untap, upkeep, draw. I drew a card. Yeah, we'll ping you, and I gain 1. Gonna play Restless Reef, comes in tap. So now that I remembered, I'm gonna tap that for a black and tap both of these black to play Underworld Dreams. Whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to them. I really don't, unfortunately, I only have 2 cards in my hand. They're both answers, and nothing is really happening in a way that I need to use them. 1 is a protection spell for my commander, but he's already protected with Shroud, and I couldn't target them for this particular thing. Anyway, it's slip out the back, so it puts a counter on something and it phases it out until end of turn, or until my next turn, so I couldn't even target the commander anyway. And then the other thing is basically like an instant speed pseudo board wipe, where it bounces all creatures back to their owner's hands, or all their tokens. You pick one. Perplexing Test. But that would bounce my stuff back to my hand, and I would actually, yes, I do have enough to cast it, but then I couldn't cast anything else. You want to do something like that, because it's an instant, you want to do that on their end step, so that then on your turn, you can spend all of your mana to recast your stuff. And ideally, you would do that in a situation where you maybe have haste, so that you can start swinging while everyone's defenseless. But we're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn, take a damage because of Underworld Dreams, play a swamp over here. Gonna have to reevaluate. Again, I basically have 2 answers in this hand, and that's all I have. I have no card draw, not good. And I have no card draw in the card draw deck. That was really upset. But now we're gonna try, no, because with him gone, that's not gonna do all that much now. Blasting Station still does 2, but it would have been much better. See, I played it wrong last turn, didn't get a chance to do it right this turn. So I guess we're still gonna, if we lower the amount of creatures on our board state, people are gonna be more inclined to swing in on us. But I guess we should still do it, because while we lost the life gain, it's still decent damage. So I'm going to tap. Well, first of all, before we do that, should we attack first? Is it going to get in on anything? Actually, it would. That is correct. Okay. I will move to combat. I will swing all of these at you. That's 4, 5, 6 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then on my second main phase, I'm going to tap Blasting Station to sacrifice the Exquisite Huntmaster. 3 triggers go on the stack. We're going to resolve the agent first, so each opponent is going to lose 2 life. Then Blasting Station is going to deal 2 damage to each opponent. Wait, is it each opponent? Nope, to target creature. Sorry. Shoot, I don't know if I hit both or not. So we will do that. I did that to you. So that's even less damage. But and then finally the Exquisite Huntmaster resolves. It makes a 1/1 green elf warrior token that untaps Blasting Station. Then I will go ahead and tap Blasting Station again to get rid of one of the fungus. This is going to 2 life to each opponent. And then Blasting Station will do 2 damage to target opponent. Now, see, that's really good, and had we had the other dude, it would have been even more damage and some life gain. That's how I should have done it last turn. Really cool to see that interaction existing in the deck, especially since I didn't consciously build it for that, but I mean, it's, again, not hard. That's why the commander's popular. I'm still pleased with it. Have all this mana, and unfortunately nothing I can actually do with it. So we're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap over here. Upkeep. We're top decking, unfortunately. Tap for a black and a white. Killian Ink Duelist. I'm going to take a damage. It's 2/2 lifelink with menace, and spells you cast that target a creature cost 2 less to cast. So that's awesome. These two now make all of my enchantment auras cost 3 less to cast. However, I'd have nothing in my hand. As usual, my goal for this year, because this is currently, I'm filming this in February, so my goal for the summer is to really tear apart every single deck I have, even my favorites, and reevaluate the card draw and increase the card draw in every single one of them. If I do that, I believe that most of my decks should improve. I'm not saying it's some sort of magic fix-all, but at the same time, I'm starting to get to the point where I believe it is, because at any given point in a game, if you're missing something, I need more lands like this one. I need my enchantments in this one. I need more card draw in this one. Guess what's going to get you there? Card draw. Yeah, you could increase the number of lands. You could increase the number of enchantments. That's all viable, and basing the balance on the rest of the deck, it could also be, a proper strategy. However, just simply having more card draw will get you those things you need faster. If every other turn I'm playing a card that says draw 2 cards, or a creature that says when it attacks, draw a card, something that I can use on a consistent basis, then that means I'm going to be getting 2-3 turns ahead every turn. So even if I have a land clump or a clump of non-lands, where it's like 7 cards in a row that aren't lands, it won't take me 7 turns to get to a land, it'll take me 2 or 3. So again, you still need to evaluate the balance of the deck. Maybe you need more lands in the deck. Maybe you need to take some lands out to get more. Maybe you've got 40 lands and you really don't need that many. You take out 2 or 3 and add in more functional cards. That's, of course, probably your first and most important look. But past that, I say jump your draw spells up to like 20 cards in a deck. And when I say draw spells, I mean, again, across the board. I'm well aware that 4 mana to draw 2 cards is still kind of a waste, because you're spending mana and wasting a card just to get 2 more cards back. So you're only netting a positive 1 card. I get all that crap, but still, you're drawing a card faster than everyone else. But again, the decks my friends play that consistently win, their card draw is more along the lines of enchantments or creatures or artifacts that say when you do something, draw a card. So that way it's just on the board state, and it's just constantly getting you cards, as opposed to the card draw spells. But enough of that. I'm just saying that's what I've been learning from having this channel. And hopefully that helps some of you out there that might be watching and be like, hey, Brian's decks aren't too bad, but I want to be better than him. Yes, I should look into, adding card draw. I'm pretty positive that increasing your card draw in any given deck is going to speed it up and help. However, if I'm wrong, if you have better evidence to say otherwise, let me know in the comments. I'm open to discussion on it. I'm open to changing my mind if someone comes at me with a logical debate and facts and says, well, here. Oh, you know what? I didn't think of that. You're probably right. I do that all the time. So enough jaw jacking. That's all we can do here. I'm not going to bother attacking. I'm going to move to my end step. I only have 1, so my opponents will lose 1 life and I will gain 1 life, and we will pass turn. Untap, upkeep trigger, put a counter on both of these, draw a card. It's still not a land. My goodness. Okay, so now I was going to play something else, but reading my cards, this completely falls in line with the discussion I just had with you guys. Tap 4, tap ally Mur for 5 for Research Thief. It's a flash flying 3/3. Whenever an artifact creature I control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Hey, what do you know? This is an artifact creature heavy deck, well, vehicles that become artifact creatures. And we happen to have one that flies. Even better. And it says whenever an artifact creature controls. So that means every artifact that hits draws me a card, not just 1 per round. So if I can get through with both of them, that's even better. I don't believe I can, but still. We're going to move to combat. We're going to crew first. Can we crew? Yes. Tapping, because this does not have anything to do with the enchantment aura. So we're going to crew the flagship, and we're going to tap this to crew. Actually, that is very true. We're going to tap Seal Overseer to put a +1/+1 counter. Wait, hang on. We got to do this in the right order. So I'm going to tap Katsumasa to crew the flagship. I'm going to tap the Research Thief I just flashed in to crew the Getaway car. They are now artifact creatures. I will tap Steel Overseer to put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature I control. So now, Alloy Myrrh, and these all go up. Even better. Now I will move to combat and declare attackers. Nobody has flying right now, so this can get in anywhere. This has haste, and whenever it attacks, return up 2, so I don't have to do that. Yeah, and bouncing that back would be extremely stupid at this point. I'm going to swing Getaway Car at you because it is a 8/7. So even if you stack block those creatures, they would both die. And I'm going to swing the Sky Sovereign, which is an 8/7. In the air, who's the biggest threat? You're not really. I'm going to swing it over it. Well, I guess I should also swing that over at you because you are actually doing quite a bit of damage. Basically, I believe Teysa is essentially the threat right now. Nobody is a crazy big threat. Oh, I forgot about Underworld Dreams. Take a damage, take a damage. And I'm going to take more damages when I draw cards, though. That will be unfortunate. So there is the slight argument to go after you for that, but I'm going to send them both at you. It just makes sense. You're going to be able to start sacking creatures and dealing a ton of damage. You could kill us. At least this character, probably close to it. All right, so you're definitely going to take the 8 in the air. Then you have 8 something that doesn't have trample, though. It doesn't have menace, so you can just block with this, the elf token. However, a creature died, so every opponent's going to lose 2 life. Yeah, so there's no life gain. So only one thing hits. We're going to draw a card, take a damage, unfortunately, because of Underworld Dreams, and crazily enough, it is still not a land. I think that's just a shuffling issue. I don't think it's that we need more lands in the deck. I'll check, but I believe it's 36 or so, which is pretty much the sweet spot for what I've been seeing on my decks. Like, just enough to consistently get lands for the most part when you need them. 37, 38 might be a little better, but it's just so hard to take cards out to put them in. And when you build decks, you really should start with X amount of lands. Like, just start by having 37 lands and then build, because it's a lot easier to build that way than to say, I'm going to start with 35 lands, build your deck, and then go, oh, I should really add in 3 more lands. And now it's way harder to try and take 3 cards out. Just a little tip on deck building I've also learned from friends and doing it myself. That is everything we can do over here. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Oh, that's right. Oh, I hope I haven't been doing that to everybody. I bet you I have. I keep forgetting it's target and not just, so I gain a life, but only one person. In the chain, if I've been doing that improperly and hitting everybody, which I think I have. I'm almost positive I have. I just won't ping anybody right now to try and start to balance it out. So I'll gain life, but I won't ping anybody for the next 2-3 turns just to try and idealistically balance that out. Okay, I have a decent answer, sort of, but again, no card draw in the card draw deck. Very unfortunate. This thing has like 20 plus cards of card draw, I swear. But if I don't have one, I can't get the rest of them. Okay, that's it. Pass turn. I just have to try and remember that when I'm about to take damage, there's something to stop it. Untap over here, upkeep, draw. All right, I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3 and play Gibbering Barricade, a 2/4 defender. Pay a black and 2 others to sacrifice a creature, and I gain 1 life and I draw a card. So this comes into the discussion I had in the first match where I'm not entirely sure how that works with the deck. I haven't looked it up. I tend to film these episodes pretty much back to back for the most part within a day or two. Obviously, so the first episode is not airing for a while, a couple weeks, so I don't have the comments from people that explain, hey, Brian, you did that wrong or you did that right, i.e. my good friend Brad, who tends to comment on these. Hi, Brad. Everybody say hi, Brad, in chat. Yeah, I don't know if sacrificing counts as a death trigger that would then duplicate for Teysa. I want to say it doesn't, because it's not quite the same thing. Like, I can sacrifice a creature, and this creature, if it has a death trigger, would double. But I don't believe this activation would double. It's mainly in here, like Blasting Station, to give me an outlet to sacrifice creatures. I did that wrong, didn't I? Well, no, actually, I guess I could have. So what would be the damage? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 to 1 person. So I could kill you and get everybody else lower. Yeah, I guess I should try and play that smart. Again, we're right at the end of the thing. People shouldn't let you take back. It's just me, however, so I want to try and get better at Magic, so I gotta try and learn to play these things. So we're gonna go ahead and tap Blasting Station, sacrifice the last fungus to get the trigger. So each opponent loses 2 life, and then Blasting Station is gonna deal 1 damage to you. Then I'm gonna tap 3, then play the Gibbering Barricade, which untaps Blasting Station. However, when I do that, I do take a damage off of this, but then I can tap Blasting Station again, sacrifice that to do it again. So everybody takes 2, you're dead, 2, 2, and then I can put the next one on you. Okay, so Kaboosh, you're dead. Again, this may be a little incorrect, a little early, because if I was hitting everybody with Quiznos incorrectly, these two might have like an extra like 2 life, 3 life maybe if I did it too many times. At least the good part, even if I did do that, it's not a massive game-changing invalidator. It's not like, oh, the whole game's bullcrap, it doesn't count now. It just would take an extra couple turns to do it. However, I now no longer have any creatures to sacrifice, so she's kind of out of gas. Got the highest life total, so this now goes in there, so they don't have anything. I don't remember. I'll just take the damage off of Underworld Dreams. I don't think I took it. We will pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn, take a damage now that I'm remembering. Terramorphic Expanse, right when I don't need it, we'll go get a Plains. Again, we don't need it, but it's nice to have the balance, because if someone were to blow up the Chromatic Lantern, we would need that color balance. Although, again, don't have any card draw, so there's no way to get enchantments into my hand. They're dead. They have a few blockers. You only have one. So we will go ahead and swing the board at you. You can kill either one of these. This one makes things cost 2 less, so you're going to block that one, destroying it. However, nope, you are not, because it has Menace. So you'll block this one, and this does have lifelink, so we will gain 2, and you will take a total of 4. Not much. Yeah, it's commander damage, but at this stage of the game, that's really... If this somehow commander damages that out, there's a big problem. All we can do, we're wide open, we're going to pass over here. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn, gain a life, and obviously we're going to ping you. Although, what did I say? I said I wasn't going to ping anybody because I may have been pinging them all. Tap a blue for the relatively useless Soul Ring I just drew. Dang it, I had that freaking instant in my hand that would have stopped some of the damage I took. But, alright, so we got to try and remember this. Set it a little differently. No cards in my hand can do anything to sacrifice or gain card draw. I'm tempted to swing over there just because, like 3, 4, 5, 6 damage on there, 9. I guess I should go after them. I don't know, what would you do in this case? Because the thought process is if I send them there, that'll take them down to 3. If they're able to play a creature, they could just immediately sack at the blasting station and kill them, get me really low, but then I have a chance of like, maybe I draw a draw card and can do something. If I swing everything at them, I still have to deal with both of them. Although the likelihood of them drawing a creature is, we don't know because they haven't drawn one for a while. We don't know what's in their hand. The human logic says I should be getting a creature next because I should be due, but shuffling and randomness does not agree with that. But I do have the pseudo fog spell in my hand for if we freaking do it. So let's I don't care. Let's go. We're going to swing it there. They can't block anything, so they'll take 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, they were at 6. My bad. Because it looked like 9 to me, and I thought it was all... Yeah, that's stupid. I was kind of thinking it was the same. For a second, I got confused thinking it was like the playmats, like they're all facing the same way. But of course not. Those numbers are facing those people. So there you go. That's cool. Why wouldn't I take that? So there we go. Blast them. They're gone. We're going to pass turn, untap, upkeep, draw. They'll take a damage. We're going to tap for a Soul Ring over here. That's not very helpful. I have 2 exile spells. Not going to help because I can't target the commander, and that's the thing that's going to do damage to me. Wait a second. Nope. Target creature, planeswalker, target creature. So I can't even exile Underworld Dreams. They are open, however. But if we attack, then they're definitely going to swing back with all 6. We need Teysa because Teysa can block the commander, and neither one of them dies. So we're going to have to pass turn. Untap over here. Up, draw a card, I gain a life. Do I want to not give them a damage one more time, just in case I was hitting everybody? Let's get the game over with, that's fine. 1, 2, 3 for a useless Worn Power Stone that comes in tapped. Where was all this mana ramp when I needed it early? So again, it would be stupid not to. So we're going to swing all 3 at you. You're going to block commander with commander and take 3. We will then pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Take a damage. It's not super helpful, but it's something. So we'll tap a Plains and the Power Stone to play Break Ties. Choose one. Destroy target artifact, destroy enchantment, or exile target card from a graveyard. We're going to destroy Underworld Dreams. So that buys us a little time. Look at this, 7 and 7. Again, it would be incredibly stupid to swing. So we're going to go ahead and pass turn. Looks like draw might win again, which is interesting. Untap. Through not drawing. Draw a card, gain a life, you're taking a damage. Finally, a draw spell. Tapping 2 to play Curate. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, put any number of them into the graveyard. That would be really awesome if we had more card draw, but we're going to have to put both of those into the graveyard, not into the... And then draw a card. Awesome. A Plains. That's freaking thinks. But, I mean, it's pretty fine, I guess. So we swing again, block again, take 3. 1, 2, 3. Pass turn, untap, upkeep, draw. Wow. A Plains. Oh, Plains. Okay, well, then let's try and see if we can slow it down. We're going to cast Deadly Rollick. We don't have to pay for it since we control our commander. Exile target creature. We're going to exile this thing. No, actually. Well, yeah, because if we want to sack a creature, we'll have to play a creature. But we'll take 2. Yep, okay. That is all we can do. We're going to pass turn, untap, upkeep, draw for turn, play a command tower, but we drew, gain a life, you take a damage. This is insane. Swing with both, you're dead, because no matter who you block, you take the 2 from Alloy Mirth. Kaboosh. That's a little disheartening. I mean, it's awesome that, my brand new deck won twice in a row, but that was not a win. That was not functioning remotely the way the deck is supposed to. That was just like a war of attrition between everybody dealing indirect damage for the most part. Still cool, and indirect damage is my favorite playstyle. I've learned that over the last year. I have a lot of decks like Shieldred, Imodane. I really enjoy, Eriette. I really enjoy the idea of just pinging people. And Teysa, really. This one, honestly, like I said, like all 3 of these. I like the idea of not having to go to combat. Just I play a bunch of stuff and you're taking damage because I'm doing things. So there you go. Quiznos won again. What do you think? How would you upgrade the decks? What kind of flaws did you see that should be fixed? Or you have this deck and yours plays better because you do what? Or you've seen it played. What? Again, like I said, all of them need better card draw. Although this shouldn't. It's got a ton, but whatever. Just needs better versions of it, I guess. But I appreciate you checking out the episode. I hope you had fun, and I will see you next time.